59 minutes. My name is Levi Kones. Very glad to have joined you here. My guest today is a gentleman called Boniface Ndirangu. He is the chairman of the Alcohol Prevention, Addiction and Rehabilitation Association of Kenya. Hey, it's me. But I got 80%.
You did. we say APRAC.
APRAC?
APRAC, yes.
Yeah. I've made sure that the ticker down here is going to say all those things so that at least watu waweze kusoma wajue. Karibu sana Boniface.
Asante sana.
Glad to have you here.
Thanks, Levi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our discussion is about alcohol addiction and why we still need to talk about alcohol addiction. Some people may find it, we are over-milking this topic.
Yes.
For you who's dealing with this every day,
Yes.
how bad is the situation? How serious is the need for us to have a conversation?
There was a time we even were looking at probably discussing, my name is Boniface Ndirangu. I'm the current chairperson of APRAC, it's the Addiction Prevention Rehabilitation Association of Kenya. In a nutshell, it means that I am the chairperson of all rehabs, all the rehabs you hear about. I'm the chairperson. So we have formed an association to help focus on
the rehabs.
All
You're
the
the right
rehabs.
guy to talk to.
Oh, yes.
People really want to discuss those. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, the situation is serious, bro. Yeah, we have 400,000 people who need treatment, not just people who are abusing. The people who are abusing alcohol and drugs are close to 4 million in the last research done by NACADA. The ones who actually need treatment are 1% of, 10% of that. About 400,000 people. Dire place, they actually can't function without substance. They're dependent. And you see them if you go to Shags, you'll see them.
Oh yeah, you'll see them.
You'll see the spread over the whole country. It's become a national problem. There was a time it was a problem for Rift Valley and Central. Now it is a big problem everywhere in Western Kenya. It spreads. And it's an obvious, by the way, some of the researches that have been done, Cones, show that about 6% of the GDP is wasted through addictions by those people. The lives of people who have had an alcohol drug problem.
Yeah.
For example, myself. Let's just give an example of myself. Because I'm a former drug addict. If I had, the kind of damage I did to my family, the kind of losses I took my company through in terms of work.
Maybe tell us, when did you get out?
Oh, yeah.
Give us just a bit.
Oh, nice. Thanks. But we'll make it short, yeah?
Yes.
So quickly, I'm 20 years clean this year.
Congratulations.
So it's more than since 2003, 22nd of January.
Wow.
20 years. And I dedicated my life now to work with people who have an alcohol drug problem. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And
so you've been in the trenches, what it is like.
Yes, I know, I do. I really do. I lived in this for some time. I was about half the weight I am in now when I went to rehab 20 years ago. And that is when they had started NACADA. I think the then president was President Moi. Looked at and saw that, we needed a commission, and he gave Kaguthi the job. That's the first time the government decided to do something about it. Yeah, so 20 years on, the problem has only exponentially grown.
I can imagine.
Yes.
How many rehabs do we have generally?
Currently, we have about 200 rehabs.
Yeah.
Of course, they are forming a lot more because, with 200 rehabs, we have a capacity of about 15,000 beds in a year. And remember, Cones, we just talked about 400,000 people who need rehab.
So it's not enough.
It's not enough.
There's a feeling amongst the people when they're at home and they're talking about this. And we have reached that point, you said. Everyone is affected. Yes. Either you have a brother, you have a cousin, you've got a nephew, a niece, you've got an uncle. You can point to a drunk in every family.
Yes.
Or somebody struggling with addiction.
Yes.
And for many people, they think the rehabs are a quick fix. So a lot of families wamechanga pesa or they have pulled resources together, they manage to take someone to rehab. They expect that at the end of the rehabilitation, the guy is going to come back and he'll be sorted, he'll be, They'll have fixed him.
Yes.
And then there's a high rate of relapse.
Yes.
So the question is, as you speak to me at home and everywhere,
Yes.
is it our mindset that's wrong? Is it the way we approach the rehab? Is it the rehabs themselves? Where is the disconnect? Why are we not getting
The results we desire.
the results we desire? Because in the last check I did, and it's not just a check for Kenya. I read a statistic that it's 15% of people who go to rehabs who stay sober.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 85%, a whooping 85% relapse. This is in the world, not
Yes.
This is not a Kenyan problem.
Yes.
But we ask ourselves, what seems to be the issue? Because we always talk about, somebody is a drunkard, amekunywa sana nini, nasema, okay, we are going to fix that one. We wake him up in the morning, dump him in the car, take him to some rehab somewhere, throw him there and expect to come back and find amekuwa sorted.
Now those are my problems now. Thank you. Yes. Well, a number of things. One is the level of expectations and information that people need to know. Just like you say, that this is a brain disease, and it's a recurring problem. It can recur. It can
First accepting it's a disease.
Yes.
Because we think it's a choice. See,
Yes, yeah. Now, bus. That compulsive obsessive is a brain disease. It's like a loop. I remember once my doctor trying to describe for me what addiction was by drawing. So you drew a map of Nairobi to Mombasa, and said, if you want to go to Mombasa, you go like this, straight. That's the normal average people will just want to go straight, either drive down, fly down, or but go a straight line.
Yes.
Yes. Now that is a normal brain. But the brain of an alcoholic, it drew for me as a psychiatrist, and he's one of the best psychiatrists. So, but your brain is different from the normal one because now it has been diverted. So you go around in circles before you get to Mombasa. So
And
in
you can
other
go
words,
to Marsabit fast.
yes,
Before
the brain, the brain reward system, the system of that system has been jungled up a little bit. So people get the reward just by using a substance. That's how craving occurs. Now that can recur. It recurs. So knowing that this is a disease, knowing that it can recur, even from the word go, yes, is helpful. So we minimize and lower the expectations. 15 is on the lower side. I've had averagely around the world is about 35% around the world. In certain really good places, we need better programs for sure. And that's my problem, that's why I say it. So because we have capacity building for all these rehabs, ensuring that they have the staff that are required, who are trained and certified. We work very closely with the ISAP. ISAP is an International Society of Substance Use Providers, and there are certain evidence-based approaches that have been confirmed to have better outcomes. So our staff, every treatment center, we intend to have a catalog of all the people. And that's what we are doing as an association, because we are about...
Are you also working on maybe like sort of a uniformed way of doing the program in terms of the curriculum?
Actually, yes, there is already a curriculum that is uniform. In fact, some of us are arguing that we need various approaches because people are different. People are different. If you have just one standardized approach, as long as the core of the professions are withheld, we can have a diverse approaches. Because the addiction problem, bro, is multifaceted. There's a biological component, so you'll find some people who are predisposed to substance use. So it's biological, mental. Some people have something within them that they cannot consume alcohol safely. And we call that is more biological. So that kind of person drinks on the first day, and we don't even have programs for them. We need to have programs for such people. From the first day they drink, their behavior around alcohol is so different from the average person. These are the people who will go and drink, they're 18, he walks out of a bar and starts walking long distances in dangerous places where they can be harmed. Yeah? So this lot is more about biological, and a lot of treatment centers that are run by psychiatrists are better placed to work with that kind of a person. There are people who have also been traumatized, child trauma in their child, especially young girls who have had abusive people in their lives. You will find that these people need a substance to make them feel better, because they already have developed trauma relationships, they have depression, some of them. So a mental health approach with a medical person engaged, plus a psychologist will really be supportive, very, very supportive. So sometimes we find a mismatch between the kind of problem and the provider of the solution. So that is one. Then there are those who are psychosocial, mostly psychosocial. Psychosocial meaning it's more of behavioral component. So they probably got exposed, started using at an early, they're deviant in their behaviors. They have always had curiosity is on the higher side. Then the social component comes up strongly because of the peer pressure of the people who have introduced them to substance use. And these are the majority. And people who, the psychological and social dynamics of themselves and their teenage years exposed them to substance use. And then it became a problem, just like the trauma. Now that is, they require a different kind of program, if that is the core, because their program is more of developing a therapeutic community, behavioral issues, looking at the cognitive behavioral therapy as one of the ways in which you can help them, developing programs that are more psychosocial based. Now the last, but perhaps the most important, is a spiritual component, because that is perhaps the biggest problem we have. And spiritual, bro, Levi, is not religion. It's not religion. Spiritual is the human person. And this is where our African person really got lost, to be honest. We have been moved away from our African spirituality and have been introduced to this new way of life. Because this is new, bro. This life we live now, even what we are doing now, is very new. African person had a lot of identity and connection, and that is missing in the current generation of people. We are missing, like me. My father is, I don't know Arabic, I've never met him, I saw him once. My mom was a single mother, but she got me before I was 18. Yeah? So you see somebody brought up with an exposure to substance use from the age of 6. Yeah? My neighborhood was drug infested, crime infested. The chances of that person predisposed to a life of drugs and addiction is so exponentially higher as compared to a stable family that is very calm in their approach, that helps, you know.
So the family background is very key.
Oh, very key, very key.
It's very key.
Very key. There are some people who are like street kids. I mean, what choice did they have?
Yeah.
I mean, street
Do you
families.
think, though, that we are more of a drinking nation because of the advent of, is it that we have more access to news now than before? Were we always drinking like this? You know, sometimes some people say, social media has exposed what was always there.
Yes.
So ni siati, ni tofauti.
Yes.
Would you feel like it's not tofauti, but it's there's actually a difference? Have we increased in?
Yes, we have.
In consumption?
Yes, a culture. It's a drinking culture. We've taken after the UK. The people who colonized us. London and Nairobi are very similar. We are more inclined towards that lifestyle. People go to work, after work. In fact, it was baada ya kazi. Alafu, Levi, a lot of the social amenities in our communities that prevailed before this land grabbings and urbanization are no longer available. what form of entertainment is available to a growing population. We need to rebuild our social halls. Yeah, this Nairobi had social halls. We had traditional dancers.
We even used to go and watch our teams locally. I remember my father took me to
soccer,
to an AFC match.
Yes. Siku hizi wanaona wapi kwa bar.
And they're watching an international football, yes.
Yes. Those are the exposures we have. Our child likes Manu. They don't have DSTV in their home. They are about 15, 16. They are peeping through the bar to watch a soccer match. Why don't we have spaces for them to watch these games? Why don't we provide safe spaces where young people can exercise, engage, socialize, play sports? And this I challenge Ababu. Ababu is a smart guy. He's a guy who should revive this kind of stuff. A social amenities that engage the young population positively. Yeah? And that requires
that can cause them not to focus so much on the vices.
Yes.
Yeah.
And planning the city.
Yeah.
Yeah? You see what Sakaja has been dealing with in terms of bars that have mushroomed all over.
I saw about bars,
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Actually, they said we have how many bars here? I think the number was going to 4,000 and something.
Yes.
We had more bars per per square meter
than any other city
than Chicago,
yes,
than New York.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Bar and churches are the most.
But you know, from where you sit,
yes,
it's not just one issue, because there's the issue you talk about, there's a family issue where as a family we need to look inwards and see how are we contributing to the vices that we see, you know. Of course, that means background. It also means the way we treat our children and ourselves, the way families are relating. If you're coming from a family of violence, things, they end up affecting the child. So that's one area.
That's one area.
Then there's another area where you talk about, you know, the social fabric of the nation, where do we have amenities? Does a young person have a place where they can go and play football instead of, you know, watching it through the window?
Invest in that. We have to invest in that.
You know,
there's no one who does that. And we have to invest in those things, yes. Continue.
Yeah, and then I want to ask you now about laws and how we can, you know, because one of the things that bothers me is when I see a drunk driving accident. Let's say somebody unfortunately has been drinking, they've gone, and then they have died. And then we report the accidents, and we condemn, of course, drunk driving and stuff like that. But we've never gone to find out where were they drinking, who let them out. You know, developed countries at the bar level, the barman will be the first person to tell you you can no longer drive.
Yes.
They care about you because they need you tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
To drink at their bar.
Yes. Here,
you keep drinking, even when you're falling off, they'll open the gate for you, you'll drive out.
Yes.
You know, there's no bar that has ever said, okay, we are going to provide a minibus. Ungekunywa sana, you leave your keys here, you leave your car here, ingia kwa minibus, come for your car tomorrow.
Yes.
But we are okay with, and as long as we are okay with such things happening, and we don't go to the root causes.
No, we are not okay. We need, ukiona, Waswahili wanasema, can I speak a little Swahili?
Yeah.
Waswahili wanasema, ukiona vyaelea,
ujue vimeundwa.
So what you are saying, somebody has to, and maybe that is why sometimes I take this opportunity to appeal to people like Sakaja, because somebody has to do this. Yeah? There are 4,000 bars, as you said. These bars pay a license fee. There's the Alcohol Drinks Control Act. There are some funds that have been collected by the Nairobi County Council for the last 10 years since they brought up that law, Alcohol Drinks Control Act. There's a license, and you know, they pay 6,000. About 15% of that money, according to the laws of this county government, should go into treatment and rehabilitation, and now things like that, training bar attendants. They need to be trained. Now, what do you mean? You're telling them that, oh, they should not let them. We need to set up those laws, train those bartenders, train the bar owners, engage them. You have to engage them. Ukiona
vimeundwa,
you have to plan this stuff. They don't just happen. And unfortunately, incompetence in leadership, and sometimes the wrong one of the biggest problems we have in our country is giving people the wrong, the people who don't know what they are supposed to be doing, the jobs that can make critical differences in lives and losses.
Oh, I say that all the time.
Yes.
I'm with you on that one.
Yes.
And you know, you see some guys in some jobs and you ask yourself.
Yes,
really?
like now they are about to
You ask yourself,
the
really?
liquor licensing boards.
Yeah.
Yeah? They need to set up people who know what they're doing. Don't just select. No, these bars ought to have. Me, I've been trained in Israel, and in Israel, 6 months in Israel, I have a professor who has even come here to Kenya to help us set up systems. We even have things called parental patrols. Parental patrols among places where people drink helps with this. They are not police. They're there for good. Somebody might have overdosed. Somebody has drunk too much, is puking outside. Somebody is lost. They don't even know who they are. These parental patrols of those areas where people drink without stopping people from drinking minimizes damage.
Because it minimizes damage.
Yes.
You know, even I look at the alcohol blow, for example, and I look at it, there's only one aspect of it. Unashikwa na alcohol blow, unalipa pesa.
It's a source for money.
Now, it needs to be more.
Yeah, a lot more.
There should be, I wish they would even tell the alcohol blow guys, instead of you paying money, we're going to force you to attend 4 AA classes.
Good. In fact, I've set up something at City Park.
When they
for that.
You must do that.
Yes.
You either pay a fine,
yes,
which is very hefty,
yes,
or you go to these classes.
Yes.
Or in those classes, you're not only taught about drinking, but even in the terms of the drinking, one of the things you must do there is visit a ward.
Yes. By the way, in California, I was signing that for courts in California myself.
Imagine. You are?
Yes, I was signing. They were being sent by the court, and I'm one of the secretaries of the meetings. And it doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't. Yes? See who has been damaged by alcohol and drug addiction. Just take a tour and see, this is what, this could be you. Huh?
So now you jail them. They jail them or fine them, and then the guy is just let to go. These people, we are supposed to, they be sent to us. We'll help them. We said, at no cost, actually, with the 12-step programs, as you're saying.
True.
Yes. Or, in fact, there is a new alternate to incarceration, because now you keep those guys there. They clog that system of the judicial system. They waste the time of the court. And these are people who should even develop a drug court by the city for petty offenders of
petty offenders and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, they're brought to my center.
And the big picture is to get them, to stop them from becoming the addict, because they're on their way there.
Yes.
Earlier on before they get there.
Yes.
Maybe they can relook and ask themselves, am I drinking too much? You know,
yes, bro.
Am I taking this thing too much? Maybe I should stop.
Yes.
Or
again,
you know,
ukiona vielea, there's nothing that just happens by itself. You have to plan it. You have to engage it. You have to organize it. You have to engage the right people. You have to know what it is that is being done and how much. You know, these are the things that we have to do. Otherwise, we will remain.
Yeah, because I ask, do we care?
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Do you know how much we lose? 6%. 6% of the GDP. Do you know how much that turns out to be? 600 billion. That is more money than is sent to all the counties. That is what we lose in terms of life, manpower, people, you know, problems. You know, this problem is not just the alcoholics. When we are drinking, we affect our families. Yeah? And my younger sister got married because I was using drugs myself. She looked at me, saw all the crap that I was going through. She decided
Yeah.
And that is what happens to families. I see families, now that I'm the chairman of all rehabs in Kenya, I admit somebody. And then the next time the mother comes to the center, she looks different. Like she has been sleeping, okay? Yes. Like she's the one in recovery. The son is already doing that.
Everyone is sick. You know, everyone is sick. When you have one addict, you're all sick.
Yes.
Kwanza, if you have that guy maybe who sells the sufurias, you cannot keep anything around the house.
Now quantify that loss, bro.
You know.
If you quantify the loss, the sickness that develops from that, the ulcers, the high blood pressure that comes, you know, with those dynamics. You know how it churns families around. There are people who, the indirect relationship between alcoholism and productivity is so huge that it is best to invest in prevention, because it is known $1 or 1 shilling spent in prevention, like we are doing now.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Levy, for highlighting this. One shilling saves 100. That's the ratio in terms of treatment.
Yeah, so from
And you have also said that the recovery rates are very low.
Yes.
So spend the money on the prevention. Invest in those social amenities.
Yes.
Have the education system that has Ministry of Education, lead in the prevention jobs, because that's where the real work is.
And you know what? Actually, if we do that, we will lift the recovery percentage
Yes.
overnight. And here's why. You know, with more people who can come out and say, you know, I was almost going down that road, we get more ambassadors to have discussions at the grassroots level to people. So it becomes, they even have advisors, they even, as a result, the country begins to ponder.
Yes. We need to do that. And by the way, we have a new government. That's what we should. We should devolve this work. This work is not.
Because I'm sure from where you sit, you can't do everything. You just look, and sometimes you're overwhelmed. Yes.
Oh, for sure.
You're like, hey.
This needs to be devolved. In Israel, they have a system where an organization like NACADA is only very few professionals who sit there. Professionals, a team of experts, scientists who are studying and researching, to serious people who know the whole world and what's going on in their field of addiction. And it's a team of about 15, 20 people. Now, those are people who remain to engage the rest. The Ministry of Education over there leads in the prevention. So the budget for the Ministry of Education is quite huge. You can't even compare with what NACADA gets. Yeah? So if you engage the Ministry of Education to lead in curricular development, in training the parents, in training the teachers, prevention skills, because it's evidence-based. There are certain qualities that are known of, you know, this is science.
Yes,
the science.
Yeah.
So the certain qualities that are known among children who, while they're growing up, that is probability of developing.
You know, it's just so funny. I don't know when you guys talk with stakeholders, what you say, because sometimes I've always thought, the moment we have Form 1s go to Form 1, in their curriculum, we have to include drug and alcohol.
It has to be there, and not in the way that it is being done.
Not in the way, we have to include it there
in a very interesting manner, because you have to. Even the way you include it is not. It's very important. We educate without shouting about it.
Yes.
Or without lecturing about it. We educate through skits, through attitudes development,
through tours, even to rehab.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that engagement has to be very nuanced.
Very
it's
subtle,
not preaching. It is not. Yes.
But in the background somewhere.
Yes.
Because I always wonder, what's the point of taking a child to school, asome, apate ma degree, afanye nini, and then alcohol and drugs brings it all crashing to the ground.
Yes. Bro.
And there are many people listening to us. That has happened, you know.
Yes.
You've got a graduate in the house.
Yes.
The whole family schooled him. Loans were taken to do that. But now, he's at home.
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
It's such a waste, bro. That's what I was, bro. Yeah? A waste. And my life was like that. Now look, what we have done, I've helped more than 5,000 people. I'm helping set up rehab centers across the country with others. And we have many, I'm not alone. Quite a number of us. Yeah? And yet, the government does not even engage people like us directly. Apart from the president, you know, the current president is the one who launched our association. The one who launched us.
Oh, he did?
Yes, and he gave a beautiful speech around what we can do. And I'm really hoping that they engage now people who are in the field of addictions rather than the current system where we have people
what would
who
you
are
like to
working
see?
in that field.
Because for you to feel like we are making progress, if you were to sit with government today,
yes.
What do you think? Because government usually they panic about how much money it will cost. But what can they do immediately that you can say?
This is what I would tell them.
Yeah.
I think it's Kindiki. Kindiki is the one who is running that ministry.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not even going to ask you for any more money than what you are giving already. The team of experts that we come with can tap into
the existing
global resources available, because the whole world has realized that this is a serious issue. It's a serious issue, mental health and addiction and compounding economic loss from it and life. The youth, the research, the youth, the biggest chance of them dying might be related to alcohol. Accidents, fights, violence, drugs, overdoses. That loss of that is so huge, and it's a lot, and we won't be asking for any more funds. But this is what I would do. One, would get more funding by devolving the functions. So the function of prevention is best managed with the young population. So that function can be embedded in almost every ministry. For example, we have heard that the ICT Ministry of Ina Songeshona Eliud is doing
Ministry of ICT, yeah.
Very good. We have almost, I hear, 25,000 hotspots coming up across the country where free Wi-Fi is being given. So you work with the ministry. The Ministry of ICT helps you to develop a prevention communication tool that uses those free portals that they're giving to influence,
disseminate information.
Yes,
yeah.
To influence the young people that are checking into that. That budget is within that ministry. And when a ministry knows very well that this budget is within the ministry and engages the right young people to develop the content that is needed in creative manner, because we have that. Now you are provided free Wi-Fi, you are engaging these people accessing this free Wi-Fi across the country, and you can count them and you can check on them and how many times they log into this. And you're engaging professionals who know. Among them, there are people who can bring up content that is local, that is apt, that can influence attitudes. And this is science-based, evidence-based, that are helpful in looking at addiction in more informed manner and making the right choices over time. So this is the time. This is just one example. Every ministry in our country has a role to play. Agriculture can engage rehabs. We can have a camp of about, can you imagine if we had a camp of about 2,000 people in Kolana, Gulalu, where these people who have been collected from by the courts are sent, because they've been drinking and driving. They have broken quite a number of laws. Instead of taking them to jail, you bring them to a therapeutic community that engages with agriculture. I mean, those are things I want.
They hang out there for a weekend?
Yeah, not for a week. Those ones I put for 3-6 months. These are serious alcoholics. They have a problem. So you make a rehab that is agricultural based. So you have a meeting in the morning. You go to farm.
6 months, wow.
At 12. Yeah, in Israel they had something like that. So they are self-reliant.
Wakitoka hapo,
hakuna kulipa
hata
rehab,
hawezi
hakuna rehab
kupiga
gani.
maneno tena.
Unalipa rehab gani? Na watu wanaweza fanya kazi. Yeah? They can work. So you develop programs like those where people who cannot afford rehab, of course, for the rehab side, the NHIF should really look at us separately from the way they deal with hospitals. Because as I mentioned, we have 4 caring levels, not just mental health, but psychosocial, spiritual, that most hospitals cannot deal with. The psychosocial and the spiritual component are not things that the NHIF can deal with and more hospitals can deal with. It is our problem and addiction. There is such a multifaceted approach to dealing with these issues. Yeah, they need to consult us. They need to figure out how to approve our work. And by the way, our budget would not even come to 1 billion shillings, and that would help a lot, compared to what they pay particular treatment centers.
I hear you.
Yes, we
So,
can
but
do a
Chairman,
lot.
tell me,
Yes.
it's 2023.
Yes.
What are you guys planning to do from where you are?
We are looking at hoping that this government of ours, because it's our government,
Yeah.
it engages
You know,
professionals.
unfortunately,
this time, yeah.
or you know, there's only so much you can do without government intervention.
Yes. Big time.
You really need
That is true.
on
I
board.
do. I do. Yes, and our president has had the knowledge. I met him.
I even heard him telling some guys punguza pombe anawacha.
We are fortunate.
So at least
Afadhali
at least
sasa.
there's a willingness
Yes, there is.
to talk about
Yes,
it.
because
and-
even some of our leaders have that problem. Eh?
yes.
Yeah, yes, I won't mention names.
Yeah.
They are
But
known.
punguza,
Yes, there are people who have that problem, even among the leadership. It's an equal opportunity employer, that
yes,
problem.
he doesn't care.
It doesn't. Yeah? But even those ones, they should not be ashamed of helping to deal with the problem, because this problem will swallow them if they don't get help. Yeah. And
So
we saw
goodwill from the
kind
government
of
is
crisis
definitely-
that is government.
Yeah.
Kind of crisis that we got ourselves into because of that kind of behavior, because it was very common
Yes.
last year.
It was very common.
A very big problem.
What would you say to families right now who are watching you and, wondering, we have an addict in our house?
Yes.
What do we do? Where do we start?
Yes.
And we all know rehabs are not cheap places.
Yeah, they're not. We
You
need to
know.
make affordable ones, and that's why the government,
Yeah.
government. Yes. One, we need to push our leadership to engage properly the people who need to do this work and can do the work well. So we can push our local leadership to do that. Number two, just know that this person, don't give up on your people. We get better. We eventually get better. We do. We do. There are people who, if they're given a chance, even if it is once, even if it's twice, even if it has to go 3 or 4 times, you don't give up. As long as there is life, people can change. Yeah? There's always that
Yeah.
possibility that people can change. I personally struggled with addiction for 6 good years from the first time I went to rehab. 6 years. And now I'm 20 years clean. So if I had got the first time, I would have been 26 years. But there are so many lessons I had to learn before I could, so that I can understand the people who have a relapse. A relapse can happen, but what we do about it is more important than whether it happened or not. Yeah? We need to bring down the cost. We need to engage local leadership. We need to face this thing head on with communities. There is a document that have just come out about how communities can engage. Yeah? When we see somebody who is drunk and out of their mind, we just don't laugh and let them stagger their way. Or some of them, that's probably the last time you will see them.
Yeah. We need to see how they can engage. I think we need to continue the conversation. Unfortunately, time is over, but
Hey, 1 hour kuisha zaraka sana.
inaisha. Inaisha, sometimes I even wonder, and especially when we are talking on things like this, because personally, I think we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yes.
Maybe
you should give them my contact. If
Yes,
anyone-
absolutely.
Yes.
Wambie, where are you found?
Yeah. Me, the chairperson of rehab centers in Kenya. You can find me at City Park. City Park, the first house on the right, it's the county house. It is owned by the county government of Nairobi. That is where the good governor of Nairobi has given us space to help coordinate addiction issues. At City Park, near the City Park Market. The gate is written C12, the people who are in Nairobi. The ones who are out of Nairobi can write to me as www, or you can look us up at www.aprak.org. aprak.org. That is our website. And my telephone number, if you have a pen, is 0722 867693. It's a public number. That's what I do. I help people who have an alcohol drug problem, and there's no job I would rather do in this world than help people who have had a problem like myself.
Yeah.
I think I was created to do this.
Yeah. It's beautiful when you can find your life's purpose, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you,
doing it. It's tough work.
Thank you, brother.
But it's very fulfilling work when you see one person.
Yes.
Has-
It's called Sisyphus work. You know
has
about
come
Sisyphus?
back. Yeah?
Have you heard of Sisyphus?
No.
It's a Greek mythology of this guy who pulls the rock at the top of the hill. He's pulling the rock, he's pushing it up. Ikifika huko juu inasukumuka mpaka huko chini tena.
Inarudi.
Alafu tena you have to continue doing it.
I hope eventually it ends nicely.
Yeah, it eventually ends up nicely. And that, in fact, that is the the purpose of it, that the actual work has satisfaction.
That's satisfaction. True.
Yes, yes. Because
Yeah.
even when we pull and the other one stays up there will be others to be pulled up. There's always a new generation of people
True.
who will not be content.
True.
Yes, we just try and minimize
Yeah.
and control the numbers and support lives to change. And some, of course, will slip through our hands.
Yeah. Boniface Njirangu, he's the chairperson of Alcohol Prevention Rehabilitation
Association of Kenya.
Association of Kenya. APRAC.
APRAC.
APRAC. You can find him on www.ac
APRAK.
APARK.com. Or he said call him on 072276
867693.
867693. Or reach us, we can reach him for you, and of course we can get you to have a chat together. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for what you're doing, and God bless you as you do it.
And thank you too for this focus.
Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. For those at home, anyone struggling with addiction, it's never too late to get back to who God intended you to be. You can start today. Good day. God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.